Barrister Adams, we are here. Mahmoud Yakubu has bowed out. And in his place, Mayor Abamuche Mbo, a lawyer colleague of yours, has stepped in temporarily. Let's have your review of the 10-year tenure of Mahmoud Yakubu. How will history judge him? Kind or harsh? Let's hear you, sir.
For me, the tenure of Mahmoud Yakubu, I don't think history will have a fair place for him in terms of elections and electoral matters. During the twilight of his tenure, the most implausible and keenly contested election took place, which is the 2023 national election that produced the current president. I would dare say that this particular election, in my own recording, was the worst that has taken place or took place in Nigeria. And I say this because my reasons are not far-fetched.
Okay.
And I am not Didi Musan. I am not fighting with my conscience, because my conscience is very straight. I participated in that particular election keenly, vividly, studiously, copiously in Rivers State, for example, and we got results.
Okay.
In that particular era, that election, the only difference between that election and the 2015 election was that there was no Orubebe who was shouting, no, these results will not be announced. There was no Orubebe in the 2023 general election.
As happened in 2015.
As happened in 2015.
Okay.
Why am I so very, very unhappy? It's because of the fact that under Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, Inec decided to jettison their guidelines.
Okay.
Guidelines on electronic transmission of results.
Okay. The Inec decided to jettison.
They jettisoned it. They released the results. They released the results without computing the results in the IREV. And when the Electoral Act gives direction or directives, I do not think any Homo sapien, no matter the particular office that person occupies, that he can circumvent or circumnavigate, that particular directive or direction.
Now, Barrister, before you move on, I think I have two important questions to ask you. Now, let me ask you the first one. You just said that INEC circumvented its own guidelines.
Yes, yes.
Now, I would like for you to tell our viewer what's the difference between a guideline and a law. Because at that time, what INEC said was that it was discretionary. It was at their discretion to follow the guidelines. That if they discovered that it wasn't working, they were not obliged by law to follow it, so that it was discretionary. What's the difference between that guideline and the clause of the law, the clauses of the law?
There is no difference. For instance, Section 316 of the 1999 Constitution that talks about interpretation. It's talking about how you interpret, nomenclatures and, whatever in the Constitution. It's part of our 1999 Constitution.
Okay.
It defines what, a court is. It defines what a federal high court is. It defines, what the office of the president is. It's for interpretation. It's part of the Constitution. Likewise, the guidelines are part of the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act cannot be extricated. There is no schism of the Electoral Act, and the guidelines are part of the Electoral Act.
But was it discretionary?
The guidelines were clear.
And Barrister,
yes.
Those guidelines, were they discretionary?
The guidelines were not discretionary.
At the behest of
let me say with due respect to you.
Okay.
So if you look at guideline 37, guideline 38, guideline 39 was not discretionary. It said results shall be transmitted. by electronic means. And it was not an ambiguous clause. It was clear that even the blind could see. The deaf could even feel the pulse, because it was palpable. This is, I am saying, for those who are listening,
Okay.
they can rush to guideline 37, 38, 39.
Of the Electoral
Of the Electoral Act is there. 2022 is there. You understand the point now? Now, that guidelines did not give them an ambulatory traction or relief. The guideline never gave them so. In fact, if you look at the way, if you look at the opening verse of that guideline, it says this is part of this Electoral Act. So what else are you talking about? And if you buy your Electoral Act today, from the shop, from any street corner, the guidelines and the Electoral Act, they are the same binded copy, known as the Electoral Act. So it's just like
apparently you cannot cherry pick, you cannot pick and choose.
You cannot cherry pick. It's just like the Electoral Act, for instance, cannot extricate itself for the 1999 Constitution, because it is the Constitution that the Act draws its powers from. And if the Act or any clause of the Act is inconsistent
with the letters of the
Constitution, what we call the ground norm, the fourth et origo, if it contradicts that, then it means that that particular section or clause is inconsistent and is null and void.
Now, was there any clause in the Electoral Act that was in contradiction with the letters of the Constitution?
Well,
in terms of having to cherry pick, in terms of having to choose which section of the law to obey or not to obey. I'm still going back to that issue of discretion, because Inec at that time, and I'm surprised that lawyers didn't challenge it, even up to the Supreme Court.
No, it got there. The Supreme Court.
So what was the decision of the Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court. It was the Supreme Court, whatever, that put the final nail on the coffin.
By saying?
By saying that invariably, overtly, that INEC can cherry pick, whereas there was no direct, clause that says they can cherry pick.
Okay, so you basically.
You
disagree with the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, we disagree with God. We do respect.
Okay.
We do respect. I join the pantheon, of those who disagreed with the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Okay, but you cannot.
But we cannot do anything.
Challenge it.
It's just like what our God said. You understand? I disagree with the judgment of the Supreme Court, but I agree, with them, because they are the final court of the land. And in the interest of peace and for America's sake, I will just go my way and say congratulations.
Okay, so Barrister, apparently you are displaying a sense of surrender, not because you agree, but
we were coerced.
You were coerced.
That is the coercion is as a result of the interpretation of law.
Okay. Now, Barrister, when you say that, in summary, you said that history will judge unfairly. Now, but you also say that you were part of the elections in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
I don't know which other section of the country where you witnessed the election. So, will it be fair to judge this man based on what you experienced in Port Harcourt? Or
Nigeria, there was a far cry. People were talking about, murky results, implausible results coming up here and there, as the case may be.
Okay.
Abuja, Lagos, all over Nigeria, you could find out that people complained of massive rigging and efforts to undermine the transmission of results by electronic means.
Okay.
Mahmoud would have been in the favored folklore of electoral officers who were for credible election if he had stood on the fact that I will stand with my guidelines according to law, let heaven and earth come together. That would have been it. You understand?
Okay.
We need a man of integrity to do that. And he was, in my own opinion, I cannot judge him that.
But
the history will not be fair.
Okay, we'll come to the kind of man we need as the election umpire. Now, the president is consulted with the National Council of States as necessary, as required by the provisions of the Constitution, and will announce the nominee for the position very soon. We understand that before the week runs out or early next week. We hear that one Professor Josh Ojo Amopitan, as read out in the intro, has been fingered, relatively unknown outside the academia, hasn't held any public position outside the academia. How perfect does he fit that bill if and when he's appointed to that position? I read out his intro. Everything on his life has been within the academia. He got awarded the Senior Advocate of Nigeria emblem and all of that. He's a Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Now, how does he fit that bill coming from the academia? He's not held any public position before. And, Mahmoud Jaga was also professor at the NDA and all of that. How do they fit when they move from the academia to the public, larger public sector, governance sector? I'm trying to compare, the interaction, the interface between what we call the gown and the town. How have they been able to fit into that mold? Direct from the classroom to the public sector where there are intrigues and all of that, in public politics. How is he able to fit into all of that? Assuming if he is appointed into that position.
Excuse me, see, the point is this. The position of chairman of Inec is not an academic position.
Okay.
It's not a Nobel Prize for academia. It is not an Oscar award for academia. And Inec, Independent National Electoral Commission, is that not what they call it?
Yes.
Is this a commission of integrity and honor? There are people, and the mantra, in fact, the mantra or the motto of INEC should be death before dishonor. That is what should be there.
I saw that movie.
You understand? You saw the movie.
Growing up,
it should be that what should be the logo when you say Independent Nigeria Electoral Commission, Office of the Chairman, you will put underneath death before dishonor. Do you understand? That if you want to dishonor me, I rather die. But I would die to enthrone a virile and credible election for Nigeria. So it is not about academic award. It's not about a professional award. An illiterate can even head that particular department insofar as it's credible and honest.
Okay, now
and he's passionate.
Now, when you say
he's a patriotic man.
So when you say that the position of INEC chairman is not for the academia,
yeah,
it's a position.
It's for honesty.
Don't you have honest men in the academia?
I don't know. That is the question and the profiling I want to say. The Nigerians, even the National Council of State, for which the president is going to, sign this name to profile this man. What integrity does he have? What family is he from? Does he come from a family of fraudsters? Is he from a family where deception is a loaf of bread and butter and people care not? What is the background of this man? If he's a professor of law, senior advocate, that is his business. Does he have, the comportment as a lecturer that he was not part of the gang that was, marauding, the people, females and the rest of them? We should be able to look at his pedigree.
Okay, so apparently what you are saying is that the government should conduct due diligence.
Due diligence. Let me say, for instance, periscoping. You see, if the president really want to enthrone, forget about what you have carried, whether you have 10 PhDs. You might be Queen's Counsel in England. In the UK, the chairman of the Electoral Commission in 2010 was an Indian, a British Indian. What was his qualification? Did he not deliver a credible election? He didn't go outside the guideline. So we don't need names. You are really not names as if we are looking for Minister of Education or Minister of Statistics. He went to Oxford. He might go to Oxford and he's a man who is good to have characters are not credible. Will you just bring him there because he's your guy? Hey, look, come. We might not get it all together. And mind you, I have never seen anything about his family profile. I don't know.
No, maybe
we need to. That is the question they must need to ask.
The president has all those details.
Not to him alone. Is the president appointing him?
The intelligence community
for his. You see, they should do. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe they are doing that.
Before see, they should not even hide it.
Okay.
Or the profile should come out, because the position you are occupying is a position of want, of people with honesty, dignity, honor. Not people with valiant, ambitious, and impetus for cronyism, etc., as the case may be.
In recent history, do you think that we have had a man that fits all this bill the bill that you have just outlined now? We have not. We can't judge that. I will not be judgmental, but in my own opinion and assessment, we have not had. That is why we are in this same shibboleth. That is why we are in this same, circus. It's like a rock and roll kind of thing. Because we do not, put things in proper perspective to select men of integrity. Otherwise, all the elections in Nigeria, they've challenged all the elections. People have said it's rigged from 1999 to date. Okay.
So you feel that is the situation.
You have given it a timeline, 1999 to.
Yes, I don't want to go too bad.
A little bit back in history.
Yes.
Maybe from 1979.
I can't see anyone. I cannot even see anyone, honestly speaking.
1993 was judged to be the best.
Well, I don't want to. I don't know what happened there. You people should know better than me. It was adjudged to be because of MK Abiola. Okay. He won. Is that the reason why it was adjudged to be the friend and friend? Of course, I give that to them. That's what they are saying. Okay. I'm talking about 1990 date.
Okay.
So I don't want to validate the personas that I don't know their trajectories
and all of that. Now, Barrister, what kind of questions? Because the man will appear before the Senate, for confirmation, which colloquially we call it screening. Now, what kind of questions do you think that the Senate should be asking this man, or anybody for that matter that is nominated by the president? What kind of questions?
There are many. They should call in the DSS, and they should be interrogated. It should be interrogated openly. Let everybody see. Not bow and go.
No, the Senate will do that.
That is what I'm saying. They should ask him his background.
What kind of questions? Okay.
Not just asking him, because if you ask me now, I will use what they call sweet tongue and convince you. Okay. That is why the DSS should dig into his background.
Like his political leaning.
If they didn't dig, look, journalists have a role to play under Section 22 of the 1999 Constitution. Digging into his profile. Uche Nanji today that we are profiling today, it was a journalist or in the media house that somebody went to dig into his profile and brought out this shenanigan.
Okay.
You understand the point? And so the duty should be on those who knows how to profile people. They will go and find out if the man has declared his asset. How did he get to that? How did he even get his sonship? How did he even get the professorship? How did he get whatever his background?
No, Barrister, we hear
these are the things.
We hear that there are members of the ruling party who are serving as National Electoral Commissioners in Inec.
But that is wrong. That is wrong. And let me even tell the president, with due respect to my president, I want to see that I want to say that I thought you would differ from that no-sweating trajectory of people who believe in cronyism, ethnicity, tribalism, etc., where you only appoint your kinsmen into positions of want, like the Inec, whatever, chairman. You're looking at Professor Sopitan, as the case may be, or whatever they call Amupitan, as the case may be. Most of us feel that conversely, with due respect, that hope you're not running an agenda to, foster, a republic of the Oduduwas, as the case may be. That is the way we're saying it.
He's from North Central. He's not from the South.
He's not from Kwara or Kogi.
No, he's from Kogi.
Are they not the same belt?
No, not Central.
It's the same history. We know their ethno-religious history. We know what happened. The reason why they belong to that place was about conquest.
All right.
So we are asking, I don't want to lose that particular track and trajectory. So that we don't look at it as if it's an agenda, force a republic by default.
We'll talk about it elaborately. But before we get to that, Nigerians are calling for an amendment of the Constitution to take away the power to appoint INEC chairman from the president. How can we navigate that track without the president having an input on who becomes the INEC chairman,
you see,
directly or indirectly.
You see, let me tell you. Okay, go on.
Because some people have said, let the NJC be the ones to sit down and nominate who becomes. Now the president appoints the chairman of the NJC.
Yes.
You now say, as some people have said, let's go to the National Assembly. The National Assembly, as we have it today, is some people say they are pliable, they are amenable to the wishes of the president. Because when the National Assembly president says, look, anything that the president wants, we'll give it to him. So is there any way we can navigate that track without the president having an input, even if it is indirectly, on the appointment? If we take it away from him, can we actually take it away from the president? I'm not talking about the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a person, but the office of the president.
Let me say quickly. So, you see, the point is, in Africa, Nigeria and Africa, we have voodoo type democracy and politicians. And when I say voodoo type, I go back to Seneca, who said, man serve the interests of none other than himself. So all political leaders in Nigeria, anywhere in Africa also, they serve the interests of nobody except that of themselves. That is why you see palpable poverty, underdevelopment, grind poverty, as the case may be, all over Nigeria and Africa. Now, to make and go directly to your question and answer it in the best manner I can to attempt answering that question is that my suggestion has been, and I reiterate today, that if we have 54 political parties registered with Inec in Nigeria, a particular, is it ombudsman they call it? They call it a body. Let me say a body, a bureau or a commission set up by the political parties. All the political parties and their chairmen and secretaries are members of that particular commission. PDP, APC, ADC, all of them, they must bring their members. Either the president and secretary or whatever should be part of that particular, like we have IPAC.
Okay.
Then you now enlarge that particular body. It doesn't even need law. You now enlarge that particular body. That body will now say, okay, Nigeria Bar Association, bring 3 members. Medical Association, bring 3 members. NUJ, Junior Journalists, bring 3 members. Civil society organizations, bring social members. They now form a large commission. It is that commission now, you can call it any name you want to call it. It is that commission now that will put in, whatever, in the newspaper, social media, and say, please, we want people to submit their resume or CVs for position of INEC chairman in Nigeria. Submit to chairman of this board setup. There is no government intervention there. Even if they want to go and remote control them behind, it's now left to the political parties for them to now allow them to, you understand?
Okay.
Now, when you have all the political parties, they now choose an INEC chairman, they will not complain of that man if the results come out, because all of them contributed in doing what? Advising that the man should be made the chairman of INEC.
Now, when you make the man the INEC chairman,
yes,
he simply becomes a property of the government.
No, you cannot be.
The funding is all.
No, that's what I'm saying. Comes from the government. That is what I'm saying. Babangida started all these things where government was funding political parties.
No, I'm talking about INEC now.
I'm coming. Okay. And INEC, even as the case may be.
Okay.
You understand the point? Now, if you fund, the government can contribute. Parties ought to be contributing funds too. The political parties, we say, look, we want to contribute funds
to INEC.
To the body that was set up to elect the chairman of this thing.
We have gone beyond that.
I understand what I'm saying. They contribute funds.
Okay.
Political parties have money. And let me tell you, who runs an election with trillions of naira in the whole wide world? What does it take? If not because of the kind of election we run here.
Logistics.
What logistics are you talking about?
Movement of men and materials.
Why should that be?
Why shouldn't it?
Now, if you have your laptop in front of you, like does happen, In the UK, for instance, they do the elections on Thursdays.
Okay.
People, I've never seen people queue and say they want to go and begin to vote.
In the UK, they have steady power.
I'm coming. I've never seen police or they shut down the whole of London to say because election is taking place today. The reason is because you go somewhere, you just go there and press and you go because nobody is so a do or die affair.
Okay.
In the moment you are pressing, it's recording somewhere.
Can we do that?
Of course we can do that.
Barrister, we cannot manage that.
See, let me tell you, that is the problem we are having.
Okay.
See, that is the biggest problem we are having. Oh, we cannot do that. It's so big.
No, we cannot do it.
That is why man has remained today. The black man has been in this position.
It's not an issue of we cannot do that.
I am telling you.
Realistically,
I am telling you. Even at that, let's even assume without considering that the government is even when I elect, the government bring funds to that body called Inec.
Okay.
If the man compromises, the people who elected him will know and remove him.
Okay.
If you have gone to begin to do anti-party. You see the way they treat anti-party activities. When you see a big win leaving APC to PDP, they say expel him. So the powers will give it to that particular body composed. They say, okay, we suspect that the money the government gave to you, they have influenced you. So because of that, you are no longer going to be there. Please step down or you resign or we take you out and bring a new person there. You understand the point? That will keep people on their toes. It keep people on their toes. Have you ever imagined a situation where a show will be in that particular ombudsman? People like Monday Obani of NBA will be in that particular whatever the case may be. Femi Falana, they are all part of that whatever the case may be. They appoint people. They appoint a man and say, this is the man, he's our Inec chairman. Government, bring your money and fund. Transparency. The man will tell you how he spends the money, how much he receives from government. And he cannot divert, cannot do that. If he's dancing to the tune of the government that gave him the money, then the people will say, no, we are suspecting you, you have to leave that position. In the years to come, you will find that we will almost perfect the system. If we continue, let us start it first of all, so that the president will not have that particular overriding power to not choose who becomes.